All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my monthly review for this month's issue of the Walking Dead comic book series. This is for issue 190. It is called Storm the Gates. Alright, how's it going, guys? Sorry I didn't get this review posted sooner. This issue was released on Wednesday, but I just got backed up with stuff. And I read it on Wednesday, but I didn't get a chance to actually do the review until now. So definitely wanted to do that, considering we've reviewed every single issue of the Walking Dead comic book series so far, and this is the 190th, so we have 10 issues left until the big issue 200, but this one is pretty big by itself. This one's pretty exciting, and spoiler warning if you haven't read it through yet, there's no major character deaths in this issue by itself, but the ending is very, very exciting, and I absolutely loved it. So what we've been seeing recently to kind of get us set up here for Storm the Gates is you have the Commonwealth, and the Commonwealth is kind of a mess politically. You have Pamela as the governor, Pamela, Militant as sort of the overall leader of the Commonwealth, but, you know, nobody likes her. So nobody wants to follow her. And we have events leading up to this part with Mercer breaking out of jail and kind of seizing power, even though the people don't necessarily maybe like him much better, but, you know, because he's like a military leader type of guy. But, you know, maybe he has more charisma. Maybe people like him more than Pamela. So you have him. So he's in there. You have Dwight, who was killed off before. Now, this part is spoilers if you're behind a bit. Actually by Rick, in that Rick was trying to do the right thing. He was trying to do the right thing and stop some kind of mutiny in the Commonwealth and stop the destabilization of the Commonwealth due to the class system that they have there, where you have this elite sort of group as part of Pamela's sort of connected people, and then you have kind of the everybody else. So you have a very separated up social system at the Commonwealth, where you have the elite rich, the upper class that get to rule over the others, and then all the people who do all the dirty work and get their hands dirty are left with the scraps, or they don't get very much. So you have rich and the poor, and you have basically almost no middle class, or very few that are in the middle class type of territory. So we have this idea of civil unrest that's been going on for quite a while now. And in this issue, basically, we come up after issue 189, where you have Rick, who actually helps Pamela escape. So he kind of saves her as the people are banging on the door and looking to break the door down to capture her and hold her for prosecution, or Mercer take over, or whatever happens. You have basically the people who are just wanting her to be brought to justice. So she leaves to a place called Greenville, which is connected to the Commonwealth as well, one of their other, I suppose, territories or type of area. And in this one, we see her sort of return back from that at the end of the issue. It's a really fun issue, and it kind of keeps you guessing all the way through as you read it through. We start things off with Rick and Mercer, and Rick's trying to understand what Mercer's doing, and so far Rick has sort of been, in the middle, but then more on maybe Pamela's side in not wanting everything to just go to absolute hell, and not wanting people to die, and not wanting all hell to break loose, even though it seems to be all around him. He also has kind of favored the elite, or the leadership side of things here, rather than the people's side. And so you have him in an interesting spot. And in this one, at the end of the issue, we kind of see that maybe he made the wrong decision here, siding with Pamela and trying to help her, because, well, it sounds like she's kind of an idiot. So, she is an idiot. Not kind of an idiot. She is an idiot. So he killed Dwight to try to stop, all of this chaos from breaking out. And it's all basically breaking out anyway. He saved Pamela when maybe he shouldn't have. And now things are just getting really, really crazy. So we start things off with Rick and Mercer. The time is now. They don't have a lot of time. They need to put a new person in charge here, and it can't really be Pamela. The people won't support it, right? So it's not going to work. for her to want to do that. You have Eugene and Stephanie, who, OMG, finally happened. Let's see if it's a good thing or not. And you have basically the walkers that are coming through. So you have this huge group of walkers that started coming through before, and now they're getting very close, and they're basically entering the territory of the Commonwealth into their streets. And you did not have the lookouts because with all this civil unrest going on, these, the elite group with Pamela, her pulling the people that are still going to support her and are going to be on her side, her pulling off all the lookouts and all the guards back in, they were not able to see this herd coming through, and so the herd has finally reached the Commonwealth at this part. So we get what looks like it might be some kind of a no way out type of situation at the Commonwealth, and they have like a city kind of almost. It's not really like something just like Alexandria where it's just a small blocked off area, but we get the sense from Charlie Adler's artwork that the Commonwealth is actually like it's pretty much a whole city, or it's a whole, apartment buildings, buildings around. Like it's a well-established neighborhoods. Like it has neighborhoods instead of just like Alexandria might be one neighborhood with the lake and the stuff they have in there, the nice houses. But the Commonwealth is like, it's like a whole. It's like a whole city with apartment buildings to the whole bit. So you have them coming through in pretty exciting parts here. You have Rick and Carl who get to see each other again, which is always fun. And it's always a trip to see that considering where the TV series is at, which I say every issue I know, so we won't go into that much, but it's cool just to see them kind of meet and see each other. And, again, and I got it on digital download. You guys can get it. Comixology, I guess they're using now for their downloads or whatever. It's like $4, but you can buy it rather than having to go to the shop if you don't get to go to the comic shop like me being so busy. I mean, comic form is better because then it's got value. You don't really have value for digital downloads so much. Okay, then we have Magna come in, and she's actually joined by Maggie. So they kind of save the group from this herd that's come through. Maybe I think Eugene said around 1,000 or something. So they come through, and Magna's got the horn. So she blows out the blowhorn, and it calls the walkers in their direction as everybody's inside the house is hiding. Also to mention, too, there's a part earlier between Michonne and Elodie where Elodie, Michonne's daughter in the comic book series, gets to kind of start to find out, and her friends as well, too, just how badass Michonne is when Michonne sees them with some rifles and them getting ready to go to war. And Michonne shoots it down right away, but then they go out after and they start killing some walkers, and they kind of get to see just how strong Michonne really is. But which is fun to see and is cool. And you get kind of like a slight no way out situation as they all run out and they start killing walkers in the streets after when the majority of them's been pulled off and there's just some stragglers and that kind of thing left behind. So funny part here as Rick and the others have their some knives and zombie heads and stuff like this, and Magna and the others kind of ride in and like, welcome to the Commonwealth. It's look better, so it's kind of a funny thing. Like they finally get here, Maggie's there. The rest, Maggie's got her hands on her hips like this, right? He's like, "What the shit?" You know what I mean? And Rick's like, he's like zombie buys him. He's like, it's like, "Hey, welcome." It's cool. So I laughed at that part. I thought it was kind of fun that like the precise moment that they get there, all hell's breaking loose and there's like explosions and zombies everywhere. And he's like, "Oh yeah, welcome to the Commonwealth." It's it's a cool place. It's cool. So then we have the best part of the issue coming up at the end here, where you have Magna, you have Maggie, you have Rick, you have them all kind of. So Rick's reinforcements sort of have arrived, even though he didn't call for them, he didn't ask for them, but they helped draw the herd away, and it seemed like a win at the time to get rid of the herd out of the city. I mean, who would argue with that? It makes sense to do that. You bring them out, use the horses, and you unlike what happened in the TV series version with Rick, you don't fall on a piece of rebar. You just draw them out, and then you loop around, outpacing them with the horses, and they kind of go off in the direction where they last saw you kind of heading. So that's kind of the way it goes. So now we have Pamela, who rides in here at a very strange time. And she says, "You think I can't see what is happening here? You think your governor is blind to the plots you've been hatching behind my back?" So she's freaking out, right? She sees Rick and all the others coming in. She thinks this is a takeover. So Rick's, what are you talking about? "You lied to me, Rick Grimes. You pretended to help me to get me out of harm's way. You were really getting me out of here so you could bring your army into the Commonwealth. You were conspiring with Mercer this whole time." And then Rick saying that's not remotely true, or even remotely true, is kind of the way I read it. "Lies. I'm not falling for your bullshit anymore. Please calm down. We can talk this over." And then she says, "You stand with your army and claim you want to talk. The army of Greenville stands with me, and we won't stand for your deception. For the people of the Commonwealth, for our future, And then the last splash page, which is awesome. I love it. She's pointing. She's saying, attack! Right? I love it. Screaming. So it's awesome. It's awesome. Awesome issue, man. I absolutely love this issue. It's so great because I think what I really want to say here is I think Kirkman has really gotten to, as he's, of course, he was a genius always. When he started The Walking Dead, he's a genius. He's a genius now. He always is. Now, some people don't like him because, he's, I don't know. Some people, well, it's the internet, people troll, right? I read comments and stuff. Some people don't like him. But, okay, here's what I'm saying. I don't think you can argue the man is a genius. But I would even say, reading this issue through, he's probably gotten better than what he originally was when he started. Because if you think about 190 issues at 12 issues a year, it's been, many, many years The Walking Dead's been running for. So that's 190 months plus some months. Well, some months were a bit faster. They released it faster. But he's obviously done a lot of issues at this point. Issue 200 is coming up. And I really love what he's done with this Commonwealth kind of story arc. Do I want to say smarter? I don't know if I want to say that because I feel like The Walking Dead has always been smart. It's always been interesting, and it's always been awesome all the way through. But I feel like with kind of this political sort of Commonwealth angle, things are more complex in terms of, like, if you map this thing out in terms of game theory, things are far more complex and interesting here in what he's been doing with the Commonwealth, I think, than maybe ever before. Because you have Rick coming in who wants to do the right thing. But it's sort of like his attempts to save Pamela, who's an idiot. His attempts to kill Dwight, to do it. To get her out of the city, when everybody around him has been saying, like, you don't understand, this lady is a moron. But until now, it hasn't come right to him. Now we have a standoff situation to wrap the issue up, which we don't know how it will turn out. Maybe the people that are with her from Greenville will actually start shooting. I hope they won't. But it's really exciting, and it's really fun. It's really interesting politically. It's really good stuff. And it's you see Rick's perspective straight through, and it's like he's trying to stop this. He's trying to stop the tide, it seems, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. Maybe he didn't realize earlier that the people and what they were saying about Pamela was kind of right or was kind of true. But he wanted to side with her to kind of protect her and to do what was right, and he didn't want a war situation to break out. But with her in charge and being as, her this is a huge misunderstanding for her. Rick and the group coming in and having Rick's people kind of come in and protect and get the herd out of there is a really good thing. Now she all of a sudden thinks this is a takeover and she doesn't trust Rick, when Rick has been the only one that's really helped her all this way so she didn't end up with her head on a pike, right? And Mercer didn't blow her head off, or somebody else didn't capture her or throw her in a cell or whatever. Rick's the only one to help her, and now she's such a fool that she actually thinks that this is all a game, and Rick is actually pulling one over on her and is slowly taking over leadership of the Commonwealth, when that's not at all what he wants, and that's not at all true. He's actually trying to help her, but she's too foolish to understand, or she's just too out of it to really understand what's happening. So I love this issue. I laughed a few times throughout it, and the part at the end was just like, oh man, this is so awesome, because it's so complex and it's so advanced that I really have to think my thoughts through, in great detail of the situation that's happening, the different players that are involved here, what happened with Dwight, who's right, who's wrong, and Rick continuing to, I suppose, try to do the right thing and stop another war from breaking out, because he doesn't want it, right? He's fought all-out war with Negan and the Saviors. There was the Whisper War, which he fought as well, too, in the comic book series version. And now we're getting into a situation here where the Commonwealth is basically in civil war. I'm not going to say they're on the verge of civil war. They are in civil war. Mercer breaking out and him trying to get her and then her getting away. It's just awesome stuff, and it kind of has me sort of in the middle as to who's right, who's wrong, and just where you go with it. So I love it. I think it's great. It's some of the best stuff, I think, in terms of an overall storyline we've ever seen in The Walking Dead, just because it's just so advanced. There's just so many pieces of the puzzle. There's so many things happening, and it's not so easy to say who's right and whether or not Rick actually did do the right thing. Ethically, it seems like Rick did the right thing most of the way through, Except maybe for with Dwight. I'm not sure. Kind of depends what you think. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Are you enjoying it as much as me? I'm going to give this issue a perfect 10 out of 10. I thought the ending was an awesome twist. I didn't see it coming. And I didn't realize, maybe as Rick didn't either, just why everyone hates Pamela so much. And in this issue, we kind of get to understand, like, oh, that's why. She's a moron. And the other thing, too, is like, she's got her group, and then you have this other group here, and everyone's armed, and the herd just kind of left. If you start firing off all these guns, they're going to come back. And then at the same time, she's ordering all of her men to attack, and you've got Rick and the others there, and it's like, they've got guns and everything, and it could just turn into, very next issue, 191 could be an absolute bloodbath if Rick is not able to kind of calm her down and explain and sort of get everything on the right page here with Mercer and everything else. So awesome stuff. I loved it, man. Leave your comments below. Let me know where you guys are at with this one, and I'll have another Walking Dead video for you guys again soon, of course. TV series, lots of videos coming up for TV series, Fear, Game of Thrones, lots of good stuff on right now. Really excited, guys, to discuss all this with you, and we're going to have a great Season 10 getting started right now. 10 years of The Walking Dead, 10 years of Trev's Chan 2, and I hope you guys will stick with me for this next new decade, as Gimple's calling it, the next decade for The Walking Dead. And for us as well, too, here online. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you again soon for another. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. I'll see you guys soon.